Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are 0-for-2 in guessing who wins these comparisons, so we need to improve. I know I'm not that much of an elitist playing this game on my Nintendo Switch 2, but even at my skill level, we should be able to predict which car will come out on top. It's either that or the rumors are true and Gameloft isn't that great at ranking their vehicles. But let's move on to our next comparison. Instead of comparing 4 cars, mostly from Italy, today we're looking at 3 cars, all from Britain and all 5-star exotics. What makes this comparison even more interesting is that all 3 cars have exactly the same ranking, give or take a few points. Based on your votes, you wanted me to drive the McLaren GT of Class C again and compare it to the Aston Martin One-77 of Class B and the McLaren Senna GTR of Class A. All these cars are ranked between 4022 and 4025 and are high-end speedsters in their respective classes, but they're also quite balanced, to be honest. Will this comparison be close? Let's find out. As always, if you like what you see here, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I've got plenty more content coming for Asphalt Legends. Also, as I mentioned earlier, I posted polls asking you guys what comparisons or reviews you want to see in the game. If you want to make your voice heard, swing by my channel. There's a lot we can talk about there. With that said, let's get this comparison started. As always, we start with introductions and then move on to the live comparisons, and we begin with the McLaren GT. The ranking of Class C cars has always been questionable, with the Nissan Z GT4 effectively pushing the Gallardo LP5 60-4 out of Elite C. You're probably better off choosing between that car and this one to top the Elite C leaderboard in Nevada. In my opinion, this car is the better choice overall. It may be slower in a straight line than the Z GT4 and doesn't handle as well as the Gallardo, but it's the more balanced and reliable option this time around. Avoid the SP3 Daytona and the AMG GT Black Series at all costs. They're just not worth it. Anyway, the McLaren GT reaches a top speed of 219 miles per hour, has decent acceleration, handling, and nitro efficiency. Out of all the cars I'm testing today, the McLaren GT has the highest handling stat. Maybe that will be useful on straights and hairpins. Let's see. Next up, we have a car with the same ranking, built in the same country, but in a completely different class, the Aston Martin 177. Regarded as one of the most beautiful cars Aston Martin has ever made, the 177 features a Cosworth-built 7.3-liter V12 engine producing 750 horsepower, which at the time made it the most powerful naturally aspirated car in the world. Now, that title goes to another Aston Martin, the 1000 horsepower 6.5-liter Cosworth-built V12 in the Valkyrie. In Asphalt Legends, however, the 177 has less acceleration, handling, and nitro efficiency than the McLaren GT, though not by much. On the plus side, the 177 is much faster than the GT, topping out at 235 miles per hour. In fact, among all 3 cars we're testing, the 177 is the fastest. Will its speed hold true on both of our test tracks? Let's find out. Finally, we have the McLaren Senna GTR, a track-only version of the standard Senna. While that car is in Class S in this game, the Senna GTR is in Class A. Even though it has much better nitro efficiency than the standard Senna, it's 1 mile per hour slower, has less acceleration, and significantly worse handling than the Class S Senna. These are the reasons why it's ranked much lower, only 3 points higher than the other 2 cars we're testing. As you can see, however, this car isn't at its full potential yet, but it's still presentable enough. Of the 3 cars, the Senna GTR is the second fastest and has the best nitro efficiency, but it has the worst handling. It'll be interesting to see where it ends up on our leaderboard. This will be an interesting comparison because you have 2 cars with the exact same ranking in different classes, where the car in the higher class has a better top speed and the car in the lower class excels in everything else. Additionally, there's another car with a slightly higher ranking, though not quite there yet, that has the nitro to outshine these 2. 1000 Minarets will obviously be a test of speed, but the real test will come when they face off on straights and hairpins, where we'll see if top speed or handling comes out on top. How about that, right? Both the Aston and the Senna GTR finish at the exact same time. All right, let's break this down. While the Aston Martin 177 is the fastest car here, the Senna GTR is the quickest with better acceleration, and it can maintain its top speed the longest due to its incredible nitro efficiency. So even though the Senna GTR had the edge on the 177 in the straight, the 177 caught up in the roundabout because it has better drift speed and drift radius than the other two cars, which is why both it and the Senna finished at the exact same time. What happened to the McLaren GT? Well, despite its good acceleration, it's much slower than the other two cars, leading to a 3-second gap between them. Our next track, however, tests acceleration and handling, so maybe the McLaren GT will do something interesting here. Oh dear. Even though the McLaren GT had the best handling stat out of all three of our cars, it ended up in last place here. Interestingly, a Class B car beat out a Class A, making things even more intriguing. So what happened? Despite the 177 having a slightly lower handling stat, its drift radius is much better than that of the McLaren GT or the Senna GTR. It's actually quite astonishing how nimble this car is in some ways, but due to the drift radius and drift speed, the McLaren GT continues to fall behind more and more in the corners compared to the other two cars, resulting in a 2 to 3 second gap between them. If anything, this shows there's a big performance gap between classes C and B, while the other classes almost blend together. This also means that for the third straight time, you guys chose the wrong car to win these comparisons, as the McLaren GT, which most of you voted for, ended up last in both comparisons. Guys, come on, we really need to do better. Next week's comparison will be interesting because we'll be doing some Bugatti remats driving in Class S, and we better get our predictions right for once. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this comparison video. Don't forget to leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel. Also, comment below with any comparisons you'd like to see on my channel. We're still filling out this leaderboard, and with Drive Syndicate 12 happening, we have to make sure all the new cars are covered as well. Until then, stay safe, and I'll see you later.